Hi folks, I'm Max Robinson.
And I'm Alex Tomsho.
And tonight we have the inaugural episode of Filmgasm here at the McDaniel campus TV station. The first movie we're going to be doing tonight is The Illusionist, starring Edward Norton, Paul Giamatti, and Jessica Biel.
This movie is a drama and period piece set in Austria during the late 19th and early 20th century, never made distinct. It strives heavily to recreate the romantic atmosphere of the period, using very rich colors, and also deliberately flawing the film to give it an old-fashioned look.
Yeah, there was a lot of age film sort of look throughout the entire film. Yeah, I thought it was a really... Well, let's start with synopsis, I guess. Do you want to go into that?
Edward Norton's character is Eisenheim the Illusionist. He starts out as a magician in his youth, where he meets Jessica Biel's character, the Duchess Fantasia. After they're separated, Eisenheim travels the world, learning secrets of illusion and magic. When he returns to Austria as an adult, he's putting on stage shows like no one has ever seen before. Among the people attending the audience is the Crown Prince of Austria, Duchess Fantasia, who is now his betrothed, and Paul Giamatti's character, Inspector Ur. As the Crown Prince becomes suspicious of Eisenheim, he comes to realize the connection that Eisenheim and the Duchess have to each other. An elaborate plot ensues, and Paul Giamatti's character, Inspector Ur, is more or less the middleman caught between the two conflicting powers. It's a story of how a small group of people, even one man, can bring down tremendous corrupt power. A stand for decency against corruption.
Yeah, that's a very good synopsis. I really enjoyed Paul Giamatti in this movie. I think he was pretty much... would you say he's like the standout of the movie?
I'd say easily he is. His character is very complex and very conflicted. Yeah. And most of you can see that in the internal acting from him, his facial expressions, his body language.
Yeah, he's struggling to do whether, his loyalties to the ruler and, the willingness to do what's right. And I thought, he always puts in a great performance, so this was no exception. I thought Edward Norton was really fantastic. Throughout the entire movie, you never really know quite what's going on with him, whether like these illusions he's doing are, if they're fake or if he's actually, in fact, doing magic. And so he's very good at portraying a very mysterious, sort of shady character. Anything else?
Also, Jessica Biel was surprisingly good in this.
Yeah, she was. She
and Norton had great on-screen chemistry.
Yeah, they had very good chemistry. And, normally, Jessica Biel, you don't really come to expect, a lot of good acting.
Well, we'd like to wrap this up really quick.
Yeah.
With a quick question. Here's a little game you can play when you're in the theater. Which beards are real?
Yeah. Now, Paul Giamatti's was obviously real, but
Edward Norton's maybe.
Maybe. Jessica Biel's, however, I'm pretty sure that was fake.
Yeah.
All in all, I would definitely recommend The Illusionist. Go see it in theaters. I'd give it, all in all, around 9 out of 10. I thought it was very good. Not the best movie I've ever seen, certainly, but definitely one of the year's best, I would say.
I give it a 9 out of 10 myself, with a compelling plot, beautiful atmosphere and ambience. But the only thing keeping it from a full 10 out of 10 would be the slow pacing at certain points in the movie, especially during the second act.
I'd agree.
It's definitely worth seeing in theaters, though. Though if you do wait for it on DVD, I would recommend watching it at night with a little bit of candlelight to capture the atmosphere.
Exactly. So, The Illusionist, go see it. Hi, welcome back to Filmgasm. I'm Max, and this is my other co-host.
How you doing? My name's Aaron.
All right. Well, our next movie is Clerks 2.
Let me talk about this for 1 second. We're having a little debate here about whether or not Kevin Smith sold out, and maybe he's just doing it for the money. I disagree totally. This movie, great movie, and I believe there was another reason behind that.
Oh yeah, you'll get no argument from me on that. I'm a huge Smith enthusiast. Pretty much the reason Clerks 2 came about was Jason Mewes, the guy who plays Jay, had a really big drug problem, and pretty much this movie is the fulfillment of the promise that if he sobered up, he would get to play Jay again. So that's how we got this.
So he wasn't selling out. He was just being a good buddy.
Right.
And to our benefit, because that movie, I kid you not, look at me, serious face right now, made me crap my pants laughing.
It is
Dead serious.
It is easily the funniest movie I've seen all year.
Best movie of the year, definitely not going to get nominated because it's by Kevin Smith. But
Right. It was truly fantastic. I mean, the great thing is you really get the feel when you compare it to Clerks 1. It's just, you get to see how Kevin Smith has really evolved as a filmmaker. You know, he did this movie Clerks, you know, the original Clerks, you know, in the early '90s with, you know, a literal like shoestring budget,
Black and white.
black and white on a security camera, basically in a convenience store, and it's evolved to the point where he's, you know, doing a movie like Clerks 2, which is really, it's a really funny and it's a really sort of touching movie, I think.
And it has not lost a bit of originality.
Oh, absolutely.
You can compare it to the rest of his movies. It ranks right up there. Might even be better than some.
I think it's probably the best thing he's done since Chasing Amy. What would you say about that?
I don't know. I was a big fan of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah,
Personal favorite.
Great movie. I don't know. I think this had more content to it, though. You know.
Well, definitely, but that's not what the other movie was about.
True.
Okay.
This is true.
All right. Recommendation: go see it.
Definitely
Worth the money.
I don't
crap your pants.
I don't think
laughing.
it's in theaters anymore. It had a very sort of brief run, but you know, because all the Smith aficionados.
You go to the $2 movies that show the ones that aren't playing, you know, recently. Go see it twice.
Get it on bootleg if you
twice.
have to. It's just that good. Absolutely.
There you
I'd give
go.
it a 10 out of 10.
I'm out of here.
Later.